it is that it's a drain for the central mine that they pump those mines out so that the water table doesn't rise and flood the basements of those houses there. That's a story that he told me, and it's sort of the way I remember reading the newspaper back in the 70s. It was in the early 70s that this happened, and I came in 1970. Well, 74, 75. I came in the wintertime. So I don't see any evidence that it is actually sewer. But one thing I forgot to mention to you: have you ever been to Yellowstone? The sewer smell comes out, but also if you look at the water is clear enough. But if you look at the ground, the floor of the streams that conduct that hot water away, they have sort of a slime on them, very similar to what we're seeing in this mine here. And I think that it's the same type of a thing. You got some germs that have learned to live in certain difficult environments, and I think that's very hard water that comes out of the mine. And most things don't like that, and that's why you don't see green plants growing on the bottom of that creek. I think it's kind of acid from the sulfur that you're smelling. There's this drainage from the mine. I've seen other mines in Pennsylvania and places. Now those were coal mines, and they're are more yellow than brown because those. I don't know why, but apparently there's a lot of sulfur in coal or something. In iron mine, of course, there's a lot of iron, and I think what we're looking at is the rusty color of the water. When I was a kid down in southern Michigan, our water was what's called hard water, and on the sinks and in the toilet, we got that same brown stain. And even in the sinks, there's no sewer. It's not. Depends on how dirty is dirty. A sink is a little bit dirty, but the toilet's really dirty. There's no stool sitting in the sink, and yet that brown stain forms on the inside of a sink, and I think that same thing is what's happening in that water. But that's my opinion, anyway. And it sort of fits with what he's telling us. I really appreciate you showing me that pipe, though. He showed me the same pipe you showed me. I don't know. He has some papers from the old days when the mines were going. But he said that the guy that gave them to him was a geologist, and he said this is what the mines say is supposed to be down there. And so the guy drew a picture of all the different tunnels and that sort of thing. These maps that he got were antique, and he said that he didn't think that the geologist who handed him the maps said this is what is supposed to be down there, but what really is down there may be different. They weren't. He warned that he didn't think they were accurate. Geologist was given these maps by the mining company, and it sounded like he thought that the mining company was. Well, if you had a mine and you knew where the iron ore was and it was worth money, would you tell people where it was? It's probably something like that. They probably didn't really want people to know where they had been digging. All of them. He said all of the mine tunnels apparently go to the north rather than toward the south. And judging from what I've seen, I haven't seen any evidence that there were mines in our side, where the lake is, in the valley of the lake. I haven't heard anybody say that there were mines under that area. So, said that back in the 70s, they did test it. They had to test it, and they did a lot of testing. So. And judging from the success I've had so far, what I'm looking for, I'm probably not going to find, but I'll keep you in mind because it's nice. I appreciate you showing me the pipe. I had heard about that for years, and I didn't know where it was. And you took me to the same place that he took me to tonight. So it is the right pipe. It's the discharge pipe for the water that collects in the central mine. And they wanted to use it. Actually, what he said was they wanted to use that as a water supply for the city of Norway. They tested it, and they found out that it was real hard water, and it had a lot of iron in it. That's why it's brown on the bottom. And he said they just decided it has a funny smell because of the iron, and that's just, they figured that they could get better water with a pipe by drilling, and they did drill over by the industrial park.
Mm-hmm.
And the city of Norway and Vulcan have pretty good water as far as I'm concerned. But it's a whole lot better than what I grew up with. That's the problem, is if you try to find those records now, they've had all these years. I'm going to try to see if I can find something, but right at the moment, I think those old records are probably buried someplace in a big pile of other records. And yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do, is find out what the water is like now. And mainly what I'm worried about is how much acid is in there.